You never
All
know.
right. So, all right. So we are good to go. So I guess really you're kind of doing this on your own, Kip, for now until Andrea gets here. But where are you guys kind of standing on what you're thinking as far as from the deal?
Let me pull that back up real quick. Oh, did we split into groups for this? Like there's...
Yeah, so you and Andrea were a team for the negotiation, and then Paulette and I were a team. So
I had no idea.
Yeah, because you guys were Team Keurig, we were Team Green Mountain. So.
Oh, okay.
And then you should have gotten like the Keurig confidential. Did you get that emailed to you?
No, I haven't seen anything about it. I better look for it again. Let me check it out.
So we're really flying blind on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I never saw that email at all. Shoot.
Yeah, let me look and see when I got.
Who sent the email out?
It was Brother Mitchell. Let me pull up my email and I can tell you when I got mine. It was like the beginning of this week or the very end of last week. It had to have been the very end of last week because it's stopping me there.
Interesting. Yeah, I've got my school email set up so it forwards to my Gmail account just so I can actually get it on my phone. And
yeah, me too.
I never got any of these course evaluations. None of these ever came through. USU visit, clutter. 325. There it is. Oh man.
Yep. Yeah, 325 at, yeah, it's not showing what time, but yeah.
So it's the Keurig confidential one?
Yeah, so we got the Green Mountain confidential that explains what the Green Mountain one was, but.
Oh man, I'm sorry you guys. Yeah, I never saw this until just now. For Keurig eyes only.
So I give you a second to read over it.
Because I was trying to, when I was looking at these questions, I'm like, there wasn't much about a deal in this. I mean, there was a little bit mentioned of some ideas that they wanted to do towards the end, but I was like, where am I supposed to get this from? Now it makes sense. No, well, that kind of kills it.
And honestly, I don't think this is going to be too difficult because both groups have already worked together. And I think we can come to some sort of an agreement.
Right.
It's not difficult.
Sorry, I'm just trying to read this real quick here.
No, that's fine.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Andrea.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
It took a little bit longer getting my daughter to bed.
That's okay.
Oh, it's all good. And were you able to read your Keurig confidential?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. For some reason, Kip the email didn't forward from the BYU account to his Gmail, so he didn't even realize that it was there. So he's reading it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like the last 9 emails. No, 10 emails No, 11 emails didn't come through.
Oh, yikes.
Lazarus lyric. Try again later is not an option. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we have to either come to an agreement or
nothing at
call
all.
it a no deal. Yep.
Yeah.
Have any of you ever tried like Keurig hot chocolate or anything?
We were just talking about it.
I was just talking about that. So I know that they have like hot chocolate and they have apple cider and things like that now, but I've never tried them.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try hot chocolate just because it seems so fancy in the little cup and
Yeah.
you know, like the whole setup just makes it look fancy.
It does.
Yeah.
The one I saw today, I was like, I want one of these.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't think I can justify getting one where I only would use it for hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so my best friend's parents, they bought one just because they wanted to use it for hot chocolate and apple cider. And I was like,
Oh,
okay,
What
you've got the
What do
money,
they
more
retail?
power to you.
do they retail for now?
I have no
I
idea.
think they're still $200 to $300.
Oh my gosh. That better be some dang good hot chocolate.
Yeah, see, I love hot chocolate and I have a hot chocolate maker, but I just couldn't justify the counter space. I have too many things on my counter.
All right. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to speed read this thing.
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, so I was just asking Kip before you got on. So as we start the negotiations, I was just kind of asking where you guys are kind of feeling as a starting point. What are your thoughts on kind of where you're standing on what you would like to see?
Yeah, I guess with this one we don't really have questions to go over.
No, it's really the only ones for there is like an actual discussion after we do the negotiation that basically is just kind of like a debrief. But really the only questions I found were from the case, which is royalties per cup, who pays for packaging, or who pays for the packaging lines, what if Green Mountain Coffee wants exclusivity, and what if Green Mountain wants equity in Keurig.
Okay.
So those are really the four questions that I based my stuff off of.
And did you and Paulette meet beforehand at all?
We
Yes.
met last night for a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's see here. Okay. I've got a pretty general take on it.
All right. So where are you guys standing on? Let's start with the first like big question. So what do you guys want to see with packaging lines? So what is your proposed deal for who pays for packaging lines?
Still, sorry, just a second. I would like to see it supplemented by instead of Keurig bearing the full cost of the packaging line, I would like to see you know, that kind of shifted towards the roasters.
Yeah, and even if yeah, I agree with Kip that, you know, it should be supplemented either like with cost wise, if we have all the equipment and stuff, and if we do it, then the roaster should supplement a cost to help cover that.
So how much are you saying supplement?
Let me see. I'd say at least 10% of the cost.
So like, let me see, just a second.
So are we under the assumption that regardless of who the different roasters are, that essentially the packaging is going to be identical just with their stuff on it?
So what I'm understanding from it is, so like with Green Mountain Coffee, we would be packaging it, but the equipment and the packaging and everything else. It would be like the packaging line. So instead of Keurig actually packaging everything and paying for the packaging lines and the equipment to do it, Green Mountain Coffee would then be doing the packaging and the distribution of the product, and then we would be paying you guys a royalty for the rights and the technology to be able to package those under the K-Cup brand.
Right.
So is Green Mountain planning on having the packaging line in their facility or in Keurig?
From what I was understanding is it would be at our facility.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. There's no reason to bring all the coffee and packaging equipment to Keurig when it's already set up and
the only way that would make sense is if you guys are doing the True North brand, and then you're buying the coffee from us and selling it under the True North brand, which is not really something we're interested in doing.
No, and that's not what we're looking into doing at this point either.
Yeah.
So for the packaging lines at our facility, how much would you be willing to cover on the cost of that? Because the cost of the line is going to be $700,000 or about there.
So how about we cover
the cost of the line is 700 grand.
Yes, the equipment to produce, and we can't bear the full cost of that just because of the fact that it is an unproven product at this point. The Keurig system is still new, and it's an unproven market at this point, so we can't bear the full cost of that. So how much would you be willing to to pay towards that for to help us offset the cost and be able to make this deal happen?
I think we could pay 20% per line. Does that sound right to you, Kip? Or appropriate?
Yeah, I think that. And then further down the road, once we've proven that it is a proven concept and we do have a strong track record, then we could probably even renegotiate, because the volume is going to be so much more. You know, maybe even down to 15%. But for now, I think 20 is pretty fair.
Let me just look at this real quick.
No, we have to have a deal right now. There's no time. Joking. Did anyone else find it just crazy that Ian, what's his last name, eventually ended up getting canned, and it was like his initial idea?
Yeah.
Yes.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah,
He
I
was,
thought that
it
was
sounded like he
cool.
was so distracted with other little projects all the time that he just wasn't doing anything well.
Yeah.
That was really surprising.
By the way, guys, you can buy Keurig on Amazon for less than $100.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
Anyone interested?
All right. That's gonna be on my Christmas list now. I'm gonna be the highest end hot chocolate drinker that I know of.
So we were kind of looking at around 40% for you guys covering the line. Would you be able to come up any off of your 20%?
Maybe up to 25%, but I feel like 40 is pretty high.
Or what if we meet in the middle with the option to renegotiate down the road when things are booming for us?
So, okay, so what were you guys thinking on royalties then for per cup royalties?
$110%.
Not going to happen.
Good deal. It's over. I'm trying to find the what was the price per cup?
So the numbers that I found in the case, it said that the certified distributors that we use would be selling them for 50 cents to the end consumer, and they have a 50% markup, which means we can sell them for 25 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So our royalties got to be covered somewhere in there.
Yeah, so we sell for 25 cents per cup. Our total cost per cup is 14 cents. And all this is information from the case study, which basically leaves us with profits before royalties of 11 cents per cup.
I don't know, Andrew, what do you think about 5 cents of that?
I think that sounds good.
If we're covering that much of the cost of the line, there's no way we can do 5 cents. We're looking at possibly being able to give you a 3% royalty.
What if we were able to do 30% of the line and then the 5% or the 5 cents?
You would have to be close. You would have to be up around 50% of the line for us to be able to do that. So you would have to cover about $350,000 for us to be able to do a royalty of 5 cents.
Do we know how many production lines we're doing at this point?
So in our case and on all of our information, it doesn't cover how many lines.
Yeah, it just says for the first packaging line, it's $700,000 cost.
So what?
So I was just going off of the fact that it would be just the one packaging line for now.
Okay.
So what percentage did you want us to cover of the line, and then how much royalty would we receive for doing that?
So if you were to cover 50%, so that would be $350,000. We would be willing to give you. Let me look. Let me pull this back up. So basically, if you cover half of the line, we would be willing to give you 45% royalty on per cup. But we also still have the cost of salespeople and distribution and all of that on top of the production line. So that is more than fair, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say the royalty would be? I missed that.
45%.
45%.
I honestly, I think given that this is essentially the first run, I think that's a good place to start. I mean, right now it's not even a proven concept, so I feel okay with that.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's
Andrea?
okay. And then could we have the freedom to renegotiate in the future if we have to add another production line or whatever?
Right.
Yeah, I would definitely be comfortable in the future renegotiating as we increase and have to add more lines. I would definitely be happy to do that and come back and renegotiate that. My other question is, how are you feeling as far as exclusivity?
Well, we feel like Keurig doesn't need to be exclusive to your company because your company is just a regional, only covers the region, and we want to expand further than that.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on us having equity in Keurig?
How much are you guys thinking?
We were just thinking, well, we wanted equity rights if you guys were planning on having equity. Because there could be
I'm not.
that for us to be safe, if something happens and, for example, PNG was the option where PNG would offer you guys a better offer, we would want an equity rights to make sure you guys wouldn't go or leave.
Wouldn't jump
Yeah,
ship
that
with
we
you.
would still. Yeah, that we would still have the ability to sell. Because if you sold out to a bigger company like P&G, there's a very good chance that they would cut us out of the equation after all of this investment. We would be out what we've spent, and so we're not really willing to go that route unless we have more assurance that we're not going to be cut out of the deal, or that you're not going to plan on selling out for the next 4 or 5 years, at least until we get this going better.
Yeah.
Right. So what's more attractive to you guys, exclusivity or stake in the company?
I would say equity.
I would say
Right.
equity as well.
I think we would agree with more equity than exclusivity.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you guys need your protection, obviously. So I mean, I think that sounds fair.
And what would you guys be willing to think about as far as equity goes? Because honestly, there weren't any numbers in this case to help me figure out what even to start with as far as equity goes. And so honestly, I have no idea where to even start. I just know that it would be in our best interest to have some sort of equity share.
Sure. I'm right there with you. I have no clue as far as a percentage.
We
we
also were given no information about equity.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, for the basis of this, I think we were able to really at least nail down some of the main points. So I think, and I think we're good with, if we can have equity, we're good with not having exclusivity, because you guys did make a very good point. We are a regional company, and if we are exclusive, then that doesn't help your brand grow, and that doesn't help our brand grow either. As it expands and you bring on other roasters in the future, it will expand the Keurig name, and possibly even the Green Mountain name, if they're tied together going forward. So
Exactly.
Awesome.
That's fair enough.
all right. Okay, so I think we were able to meet an agreement. So
Excellent.
let me just jump over and see what kind of debrief questions, and then we can bust through those real quick before I have to take off. So I guess the first question is, what was the tone of the negotiation? And I think going into it, it was the tone was that we already have worked together, and we really wanted to kind of help each other out and do the best that we could. And I think we were willing to understand where the other person had to give a little bit.
I agree. You guys, I mean, you are taking on a risk. I mean, investing that much in a line when it's not proven. So I think it's, I think the middle ground was more than fair.
I agree.
And we did kind of talk about the per cup economic analysis of how much it is per cup, what you would be getting. So we did break down a lot of that information. How important was this negotiation to Keurig? What was at stake? So this is the information that we didn't know, and then we'll go to how important it was to us. So how important was this to Keurig?
Well, it was going to be good for Keurig, of course, but it wasn't vital. If we didn't strike a deal with you guys and we had two other options that we could have gone, we've received a lot of interest from other leading roasters when we talked to them at trade shows and stuff like that. So we would have followed up and tried to come with a deal with one of them, or resurrect the True North plan.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so with us, it was kind of a do or die deal. So for us, it was very important to us to strike this deal, because at this point, Keurig is the only one that would allow us to possibly make cups for their machine. So P&G and those others are not interested in having us kind of piggyback off of their single cup. And so that's kind of a market we're looking at getting into, and there's no other options besides Keurig at this point. So if we wanted to go that route, this was our only option to do it.
Yeah.
All right, so what is the maximum value that could be shared between Green Mountain Coffee and Keurig? I'm not exactly sure what that question is asking.
I don't know either.
All right, so did you guys look at how much you guys would earn under the True North? I didn't run those calculations just because I was looking at our economics, not Keurig's economics?
I didn't, but I know that it wouldn't have been as profitable for us with True North because of all the expenses and stuff that we would have to incur. We knew that their revenue would probably be more than what we would be getting with royalties, but yeah, the costs were, more to make it less profitable.
All right. And what was your walk away? What would have made you guys walk away from the deal?
Ours was exclusivity. If you
Okay.
guys demanded exclusivity, we would have walked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's interesting because that was really with ours. It was the cost of the line because right now we just went through an expansion, so we don't have much capital available. So if we wanted to go this route, we only had so much money that we could put into it. So if you weren't willing to help us split that cost, we would have had to walk away.
Interesting.
And I'm not sure what this one is. It says, what is Zupa? Z-U-P-A?
It's a good restaurant that's in Utah.
I love Zupa's in Utah.
Love that place.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't know. What is that? Is it an acronym? I'm guessing. The
Yeah,
Zupa.
I'm not. I'm doing Zupa negotiations. I'm just going to Google it real quick. Yeah, it's not pulling up anything. So I'm not really sure. I didn't see that anywhere in the case.
Mm-mm.
So again, I'm not sure what it's asking for there. And then the last question is, how big is exclusivity to both parties? So exclusivity, obviously, to you guys was a big deal. You weren't willing to do that. For us, it would have been nice, but at the same time, we also understood that exclusivity would have possibly halted growth. And kept us from really reaching what we wanted, which is nationwide recognition, and to build a nationwide brand. And Keurig is going to help us do that because they have the potential to become a nationwide brand as they bring on other roasters, and K-Cups could then be sold in other regions and become profitable. So for us, we understood that while exclusivity would have been nice, it could have halted growth for both of us. So we did understand that going into this. So for us, growth or exclusivity wasn't a deal breaker at all for us.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, for us, Keurig sees themselves as a technology company, and this Keurig machine as a technology. So in order to maximize our value, we need to be able to sell nationwide. And like we mentioned before, since you're regional reach, you can't, offer
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because reading the case, it could have gone either way. It just depends on the person that's reading it because they did give both points.
Mm-hmm.
They said that we would like exclusivity, but exclusivity could hurt us. So basically it was up in the air. You pick which one you feel is better. And so we both kind of settled on the fact that exclusivity could possibly hurt us in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then have we captured a complete picture of both parties' interests? So I think we've done a pretty good job at that as we've talked about this. The only thing we weren't really sure on is what we would agree on as far as equity stake. But I think we were both in agreement that that could be something that we would both be open to. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So is there anything else that anybody else wanted to add to this?
Nope.
I don't think so.
All right. So basically, I'm going to recap what we talked about with our actual negotiation, and then kind of what we talked about afterwards. So as a recap, we settled on the fact that we would share the cost of the line. So the line would be paid for 50-50, and then we would basically split profits with Keurig getting a 45% royalty per cup to help them with their cost of covering the line, as well as us keeping 55% to cover the cost of the line, as well as the additional costs of distribution and staff and everything else. So, and we felt that that was a pretty good middle ground, especially getting going. And we left the door open to have negotiations in the future as this gets bigger and as we grow and increase in volume to renegotiate moving forward with the addition of extra lines or whatever it may be in the future. We also agreed to no exclusivity, but we did agree to equity share in the company. And as we talked about the two companies, we found out that the deal breaker would have been exclusivity for Keurig, and it would have been the cost associated with the production line and everything else for Green Mountain Coffee. And I think we were able to really get to the basis of it and work well together to come to a conclusion that worked well for both parties. So,
I agree.
does anybody else have anything to add?
Nope, I think you said it well.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this.